Okay, I will try to live up to the hype. Evolution of an entrepreneur. Who here are, I know yesterday topic poll going on, who here are just getting started on kind of the deal menagerie, you're more on the freelance side, who here? Okay. Who here are just starting their business? Like they've slopped all shit, they started it, perfect. And who has been kind of doing this for a while? Perfect, okay, thank you. So, a lot of you guys will relate to mix of, this is the reality of being an entrepreneur. You basically fall into this trap that you are self-employed. You're doing everything yourself, and your mindset is, I have to do it all. I'm the only person who figured this. You basically get to the point where you have a capped income. You have high stress. So here's having that high stress. Every single day, thank you so much. 99% of the time, you are the doer in your business. Because again, the other things that only I can do this. Now, where I want to take you guys this journey today is I want to get to the point where you're a little bit of this. You are then the business motor. You're the person who thinks, who can do this for me? Instead of thinking, I had to do this all, who can do this for me? And they're thinking, freedom, scaling, you can actually take a break. You can actually not work on the weekdays and weekends if you want to split it that way. Or you can go to people results like this and begin to have essentially being the designer mindset. So it's strictly from doing to designing. So are you guys ready for that? Which one that? Awesome. Yep. So of course, a little bit about me, because who the heck is the short person? I assure you people, I'm actually so much shorter than this. Who is the short Filipino up on stage? So I actually started working technically freelance when I was 15. And a lot of you don't believe me because there wasn't really anything remote. But I did start a blog when I was 15 years old. And then I started hiring for other blogs to co-strike for them. I'd become an video editor, a graphics person. Anything my mom wanted, I was basically monsters. And then now I help run 5 companies in series. You have a publishing company, you have a software blog company, you have 2XU, which was my baby for the last 7 years, which is a executive assistant business. You have 2 different AI businesses, and probably starting more because can't stop, won't stop. And I basically also have a ton of content online. YouTube, TikTok. Basically, if you search my name, my mom did it right, where she'd AP with the dash, she got easy and SEO friendly. And I always joke, because my name has a dash, I am AI generated. And it's moving in so many things. Like Vietnam last year was like my 5th stage. All over the world, just because this is what I'm passionate about. A few years ago, when I started all of this journey, I started feeling frustration with how most people who are hiring from the Philippines don't treat their people right. So it's like, okay, this is a bit, look, first local course gone. This is not how to be a jerk boss 101. And then it basically then started everything else of the content that I've had in the last 7 or 8 years now on mine. So, the biggest mistake the people say when they are scaling in the age of AI, they want to grow their business. They want to basically not be in their business that it grows. They say, I just want AI in my business. Who here has ever said this? Like you brought a consulting call with someone, it's okay, you can raise your hand. Who has ever said, I just want AI in my business, right? They say, I'll just hire any type of assistant. Or they'll say, can I just get my assistant who just had AI in my business? So this is something that as an AI consult, I've heard over and over again, and every single time, I'll turn off my sync cam, I'm like, no. Because the reality of it is that they think that when you hire an everything assistant, when you work on everything in your business, they'll actually solve your problems, right? But the reality of it is that any assistant, any hire, any tool, any AI multiplies you. If you suck as a boss, your employee will suck. If you are a sucky copywriter, your AI writer is going to suck. That's the reality of this. If you don't have yourself set up to be multiplied right, we're just going to get sucky people, you're just going to get sucky AI, and like give up on everything and not everything, and then you just go back to every day will suck. So one of our feedbacks today is 2 different types of assistants and actually how to work with them the best way. And there's 2 different languages that I'm also going to teach you guys to basically be a little bit better. So who here does our virtual system right there? A few people. Who here has AIs? Okay, I'm going to teach you guys how to talk to them a little bit better so then you don't get burnt out and want to do everything yourself. So most people are still trying to decide virtual assistant, AI, do I do just one or the other? Do I give up on all employees forever and ever just have AI employees? But that actually is the wrong question. The real question is, do you know how to speak to each one? And what you leave is, I'll give you guys the WOW method or the WOW framework. And by the way, I will have if you guys a message and link in there, I'll send you guys along the slides so you don't have to like keep taking pictures like doing but I got you. And I'll teach you guys the WOW method for machine. So these are 2 different languages you guys will go through today. Now again, the Lai teaching stuff is no one can do this better than I can. I'm the only one. I'm just gonna do $10 an hour work. It's fine. I'm just gonna do everything in our business, right? A lot of people get to this point, but again, that is the trap because you get to the point where you have this capacity ceiling where you're spending 80% of your tasks on things that just drain 20% of your revenue. You're spending it on emails, on calendar, on rescheduling someone who wants to be on Tuesday to they booked on Friday, and you just are not really delegating or taking things off your plate so they focus on the right things in your business. So this is like I told me up a few years ago, and it's called the Skill You framework, and it basically runs through these 3 different steps. The first one is about consulting. The second one is building the systems for it, and the third one is the handoff, and that's what I'll walk you through as well today. So first one is an 80-20 topic. Who here has heard of the PRIO principle, 80-20 principle? Perfect, you are bilingual. So you guys know that most of the time what you're working on is out of the 10 things you're doing, the 2 things are the only things that you should really focus on, then you want to start delegating the rest. But what is that rest? What does that actually look like? So if you guys want to go through your Notion trace, your view list, your Trello, you want to look back in the last week, which of these tasks have you done that actually has an impact on your revenue versus low impact? And then mapping up which one is your joy or expertise. Basically, does this outcome get us there faster to where you want to be? Or, does this bring me joy? Basically, of like, am I the only one who can actually do this? Am I the best in the world to do it? Because as a person who can't technically do video editing, I'm not the best at video editing. I have amazing video that. So, yeah, you flip through your real-shit tasks or anything else, anywhere else you have your tasks sorted out, you can do this little assessment. Because then, what you'll find is the first one, anything that's high revenue and basically high on your, I think it's right. Okay. So, anything that's high on impact but low on your joy. You're not the expert for it. That's your delegate zone. That's where you want to start thinking of like, I can give this to a human being. Then anything that of course is high on revenue and high on expertise and joy, that is their focus. So for example, for me, I love doing this. I love speaking on stage. I love creating content and video. My assistant would kind of like it, but I don't want to force her to do that. But she's great at everything else. I'm managing everything else that comes to this. And then because low revenue, low joy, just assess if it's something that you still need to do. Question your life choices, why you think it there on the list, and delete and stop immediately. And of course, anything here that is kind of something that you just put for fun, that doesn't really bring revenue in your business. Again, that case, you are on an episode. This is where you can have AI get started in doing what it does best. So, does that kind of resonate with anyone? Like that makes sense. Like I should probably stop responding to every single email, right? Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so then we move on to now you know the tasks that or outcomes in your business that you're not supposed to be the only one doing. Then you actually want to move on to what I call the surgeon's workflow. So every single person here has an expertise. So for example, for my friend Chris, he's really amazing on strategy for DHL. Does that mean he's supposed to be the one prospecting for people, finding clients, me doing the sales calls? Does that mean he's supposed to be the one actually executing the strategy he created? No, because that is basically him going to the operating room as a doctor and doing everything else. But the reality is you have the pre-op, which is the step. It's the researching for a person supposed to be in a call, prepping them, gathering files and information. That is where your executive assistant can Then you have the surgery. This is your genius zone. This is the thing that no one else can really do inside with your business. So This is performing the core value, coaching, reporting, strategy. That's your zone genius. And finally, anything that's post-cop, basically after the fact, this is where your PA needs to be combined with AI to be able to do. So right now, imagine that you are surgeon, you have a specialization that only you can really do in your business. That's the reason you get paid. The clients want to work with you. And actually also, then we can get the pre-op and the post-op of what it looks like for your business. So, for example of that is one that I kind of already, that I do a lot, which is, basically this is how my content flow for all of my YouTube videos, is my assistant does the repetitive research, keyword research, ChatGPT, and prepare you the brief. I basically just have a beautiful bullet point and a camera, and that's it. And then I send it over to them. And then post-op, the video editing, putting it up on YouTube, researching for videos, just one extra comments. She takes care of all of that. So that's an example of what that could look like. I spent 30 minutes on the class, but basically that's about 10 hours of output inside of the business. So this is what it looks like. So actually building your second brain is you need to know that flow and that process within your business. And this is something that I would nerd out on with my clients, is basically we want to make sure you document the processes. So that's why it's important to know that workflow. And then you're going to want to implement. You want to test out that documentation, right? You want to imagine if you had an 18-year-old intern go through your documentation, can they get the same result? And make sure that it actually is up to date. If the UI changes, the tool changes, you want to make sure it's up to date. It basically looks like this. Read that cycle over here. You want to look at, okay, email management, how do I do this? Is it actually going on to use? They want to prove it, document it, test it someone else, and then basically it up to date. And then the next task, and then the next task over and over again, because that's how you get things out of your head. Now, to the needy part, the delegate or on it, which I was very lucky that they rhymed, which makes it really, really good for presentation. So when you're starting to decide what you want to delegate to a human and what you want to automate with AI, is you want to take task outcome. So you now have the clarity of the tasks, you have the documentation. You start thinking, if it is the impose context, judgment, relationship, management, basic HE and looking over it, that is your delegate. So that's for your EA. And anything that's repetitive, data-driven, specific output, high speed, that's your automate. I don't want to spend 30 minutes to an hour researching the YouTube topic that I can just tell Claude, go ahead and do. My assistant double checks to make sure it's right. And then I just had to click it over and talk and do what I do best. So what does it actually look like in practice? The WOW method is when you're delegating, you want to give your assistant, so this is for humans, right? You want to give them the why. Why is this important? You want to give them the outcome, well, what it is. Is it PDF, you want them to show you a whole calendar, content calendar, or you just want them to give you ideas? You want to be very clear on that. And the who and the what. Who is doing it? What resources do they have? Who is someone that they can ask questions to? So you want to give them this. Then the WOW method, this is for the AI, this is a prompting method, which basically you want to get the AI in context of who you are, what you do, who you work with. Same thing, the outcome that you need. Asking it, are you ready? There you go, are you ready? Which basically you want to wait for confirmation that the AI understands it before you dump all the data. And then H is CAC. How do you want it done? What's the format? What's the output? So very similar to Joao. Now, the differences between the two is when you want to figure out, does it require context, judgment, or a relationship? That's for wildly or DA. You want to make sure that you keep that in mind. It's like, does this need someone else to really look at it, G-core, and that stuff? Or if it's repetitive, text or tool-based automations with a specific output. So it doesn't need a lot of judgment. That's where you low your AI. It's really easy to remember. Wow, your EA, low your data. And I told us if AI can help or force your EA to do it faster, then you can start delegating that as well. Now, I'll go through this. Not super fast, but like I know I can. The really bunches reminding me of what Shai was but basically on the WAB in your EA, basically your EA doesn't really need to know how. The why is in a context and why it. The relationship it's very trust-based. It's evolving, it's always changing. And what it chooses is that the person has judgment and initiative, which AI doesn't have at this point. The AI is you don't really need the why. Give the AI the why because it doesn't need motivation. The how is the format of so many samples, and of course the relationship is very just like crop driven back and forth. And then a tool is the context by text. You don't really need to give it. If you need to give a tool context, you didn't even ask it to research the context that you need. Now, this is the part of the thing that people don't want to look at and confuses them and frustrates them. See the branding. It's reading your SOPs. Who here hates reading their SOPs? Yeah. That's why it's why the business is because there are people who don't want to write their own SOPs or systems or documentation. So first again is you write the SOP, then you hand it to your VA, and then you feed it to your AI. So this is where the cycle kind of starts. Since we were clear on the tasks and output that you want to navigate, you build out the systems, the assets for it, you started delegating it, and now your assistant inside of you is running the AI. And that is the goal and the GU4. So again, another example was just responding to client emails. Your EA basically sets it up where it flags emails in your inbox, goes to the client history and context, and then it basically gives you a two-line of like, hey, you got this email from this person, in this post. For you only have to redo this once. Is then you read the brief of like, oh, this is how you respond to this is a template for that, and this is the asset for this, and then your TA basically executes on writing that. You don't have to write a single email because your TA now is context. You vowed it so that you can use the WOW method to give it to AI, where it can do the repetitive task over and over again. Because the reality is, this then frees up your TA to do more of what they do best. Now, this is basically the journey of being the bottleneck, of where you're at. You're kind of this step feels like a little noodle. You're messing your brain of like, you are the better, you're managed task. If you stop, the best stop saying nothing moves without you. Where this whole scaling framework takes you is the view, where you're just be parked. You say yes, you say no, you give your judgment, give them context. You give them the way of this why this works and why this won't work. And basically, how do you scale yourself out of your everyday so you can scale with your business pop? Again, this is what the scaling framework brings, because you give clarity, so you can give the systems that you're actually done. And this is how you skip a lot of the headache of so many people that I've worked with in the last 7 years would skip, is what to delegate to your assistant. You build systems around it so that you do what they do best without you being in the way. And this is what that looks like, the kind of a really nice Venn diagram. Is when you know your 80-20 and you've built your systems, but you're not delegating and automating, you're still passively sync. You're hitting that wall by getting use so many hours in right it. If you know your 80-20, you delegate it, and you don't have systems, you're gonna have unpredictable processes. Yes, you're predicted, but like you don't know when the next sales begin because you don't have the systems scripting. And if you have systems and you delegate, you're not working on the right things. You have found that clarity. You're efficient and not effective. And it's only with all three they can actually skip. Okay. Now, I have the same scorecard you see for you follow me anywhere online. I will send you guys a copy of the slides, but I don't have to do that. But that is basically it. Don't be asking anything.